Welcome to Silverstone, the beating heart of the British motorsport, where speed meets legacy and legends are born at 180 miles an hour. This is where it all began in 1950. Silverstone hosted the first Formula One championship race, with royalty in attendance and history in the making. Originally a World War II airfield, its runways still whisper beneath the asphalt, a tribute to its transformation from military might to motorsport magic. No one dominates here like Lewis Hamilton. 8 wins, 7 poles, a home ground hero etched into Silverstone's soul. With 70 overtakes in a single race and speeds that defy gravity, Silverstone isn't just a circuit, it's a battlefield of precision and passion. This is week 9 of 10, Throttle Freaks Fixed GT3 Series, getting down to the wire. We've got Richard Swindell's back in the booth with me. I'm Rob Campbell. This is Pit Road Productions. And Rich, what are we thinking here today for as far as strategy unfolding here at Silverstone?
Strategy, that's an interesting term here, Rob. We've got 45 minutes of racing tonight. A pit stop going to happen for fuel. Really, I'm not expecting any big surprises tonight. We've got J.R. Williams, Jack Hedgecox. The only big surprise I think we may see is I noticed Tony Costello had some really good times in practice, and so far in qualifying, he's right up there with the leaders. So he may throw a little curve into the mix of the regular people that we normally see up at the top of the pack.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be another Merc strong track here this evening. I'm just taking a glance at timing and scoring. Right now, 3 of our top 5 drivers, Rich, are driving the Mercedes, so it makes sense why we see them up there. But let's take a look at our schedule with only a couple races to go and see where we've gotten to. We started at Daytona, head off to Fuji, Spa, VIR, Misano. Round out the first half of the season. Then round 6 took us on over to Magny-Cours. New track, The Bend, was round 7. Road America last week. You're probably sorry you missed that one. Spent more time at the Cottage, Silverstone, and Nürburgring. Grand Prix is where we're going to finish up next week. But as you mentioned, our drivers deep into qualifying here right now. J.R. Williams comes into this one leading the championship, Rich. He's got himself up top of qualifying right now.
Yeah, and that's no surprise. J.R. Williams had a strong season, pretty much every race thus far. The only issues he's had is people getting into him. So as long as he can keep it clean and keep people off his back bumper, I think J.R. Williams is the one to beat.
Yeah, now the battle is tight up top of the championship standings. We'll take a look at those once qualifying finishes up. We usually have a minute or two there before the clock ticks over. But it is tight at the top of the pro standings. It's a little tighter too as well in Pro-Am and Am, although our leaders have a fair gap on them right now. But as you mentioned, Tony Costello, Pro-Am driver, currently leading the way for Pro-Am, also got himself up into 3rd place. So strong showing by Costello. Jack Hedgecox not far behind him. Another one of our championship contenders on the pro side, Chris Smrecker. We saw him last week. The SRTE yellow teammate to J.R. Williams. So those two drivers working together around Road America. Smrecker took pole, led majority of the race. J.R. Williams was able to leapfrog him through pit strategy, and then look back from there. He took the win. So we'll see how Smrecker and Williams do this week. See if they have some more strategy in store for us here, Rich.
Yeah, I think another person to look out for is Kevin Berquist. He's having a great qualifying effort thus far, Rob. Kevin's sitting 11th overall, certainly a little closer to the pointy end of the field than the back half of the field. So Kevin's having a good qualifying effort thus far.
Yeah, Kevin, our top AM driver, got himself just outside the top 10 right now in qualifying. Another driver that's had a season that probably wishes to forget, but was strong last season as a driver just ahead of him in qualifying, Brett Thurman in the bad Santa car. Although he's moved out of the Porsche this week, Rich, into the Mercedes. So another Mercedes driver this week. It looks like it's translating into a little better speeds here this week for Brett Thurman.
Yeah, I believe they take I think it's about a 20-point penalty for switching cars during the season. I think that's a good choice for Brett. He hasn't had the best season thus far, and why not take the hit? He's not battling for a championship. Let's go for some race victories or some race podiums at this stage.
Yeah, we've seen how strong the Mercedes has been this season, so yeah, it just makes sense to hop into a car, especially when you haven't been having a season really to write home about. But let's go back a little further through the field. We've got David Morris, 22nd, a perennial driver in the series here. David just keeps plugging away himself just outside the top 20. David Bush III, one of our only Lambo drivers. So taking a quick look here, he might be our only Lambo driver this week. Currently got himself just inside the top 15 and 14. Jay Steffi, one of our Pro-Am Championship contenders, is qualifying by him right now too as well, just inside the top 10 ahead of Thurman and Bergquist in P9.
Yeah, Jay Steffi, best beard in the league. I think you're a little bit jealous of him, but Jay's always great in the booth as well. Great paint job on his beautiful looking Acura.
I will gladly bow down to Jay's beard. He's got a heck of a beard going in his profile photo there, Rich. So I'm not too ashamed with that. Then we have our camera car, Brent Pancari, sharing his cam again this week. Our only driver. We'll see if we can get more drivers next season to share their camera. It's a nice little feature here when you can see what the driver's doing while he's on track too as well. So Brent working that steering wheel as he's heading into or out of Stowe now. Only a couple more corners to finish up his lap. We'll see if he's able to improve the night, Rich. So still a strong showing with only 2 races left to go in the season.
Yeah, it's been a good season. I mean, for only the second season, I think we've had races with over 50 cars, and here we are, week 9, and we've got 37 cars on the track. So nice to see a lot of the drivers and not too many people dropping out as the season progresses. Typically in the league, people are out of contention. They stop trying. I'm never one of those guys. I'm always, hey, I paid my 20 or 40 or 50 or whatever dollars. I'm going to show up every week and give it my all, because realistically, I'm not battling for a championship ever. So I'm just out there for the fun, and we got 37 guys out here for the fun, including Jim Feliz. Jim is sitting 14th right now. Jim in that beautiful looking SRTE purple car.
You shouldn't be so hard on yourself, Rich. I seen you battle for some top spots in races before and championships before, so we'll be a little easier on you at this point in time. But yeah, Jim Feliz currently got himself just inside the top 10. Welcome in Dwayne Barrett in chat. He says, let's go. So see him in here. See Colin McKenzie, one of the admins. Not the greatest season for Colin. I think he came into this race in 4th or 5th, potentially a tie in Pro-Am, just inside the top 15. He'll be looking to try and gain some points. Tony Costello falling back a little bit in qualifying now here, Rich. Nicholas Gowan has taken over top spot in Pro-Am now, just ahead of him.
Yeah, he's fallen back a little bit, but he's still right up there. He's well within the top 10, so great effort thus far. But Nicholas Gowan, Gowan Racing, man, these guys have put on quite a performance this season between him and his brother. And then we also have Jack Hedgecox. Just fantastic efforts as we watched Josh Ruczynski spin it off track at the end of qualifying for him.
Yeah, loose in the back end of that Corvette. But I got a little bit of a spoiler for you, Rich. Gowan Racing came into the last few races leading the championship standings for the team side. There's been a little mix-up. Take a look at that in a few moments here. Actually, we can probably look at it now as the clock has ticked over to end qualifying. I'll leave the final qualifying results a little bit of a secret here, but let's take a look at the AM side of things in the Drivers' Championship here to start. Josh Gowan leading the way, 13 points ahead of Pete Mejia. Kevin Bergquist a little farther back. Looks like the battle right now is for top spot in AM. Bergquist pretty solidly in 3rd. Dave Jensen in 4th. And Guillermo Perez rounding out the top 5. You can see the rest of your favorite drivers there. We'll just give a quick little click so you can see the rest of the drivers who have gained some points at some point in time this season. And then we'll pop in over to the Pro-Am side of things. What are we looking at over here, Rich?
Well, no surprise, we got Nicholas going in 1st place with a pretty commanding lead over Jay Steffi. Josh Ruczynski, though, he's tied with David Bush III. They're both just 14 points behind Jay. And then in 5th, we've got Patrick Farrell quite a ways down. So really, it looks like the battle is going to be probably for 2nd and 3rd place overall in this class of Pro-Am drivers. And we've got the rest of the 6th through, it looks like 20-something in this class.
Yeah, it looks like, I guess potentially maybe those 2 3rd-place drivers could possibly move up a little further in the field, depending what happens in the last 2 races. As the final race is a no-drop race, so you have to participate in it to be able to qualify the championship. So anything can happen later on, Rich. But over on the pro side of things, J.R. Williams has now opened up a 10-point gap over he and Matt Stadnik. Stadnik only 1 point up of Jack Hedgecox in third. Jim Flees a little farther back. He's just ahead of Dave Menino in fourth place. Menino in fifth, Simpson in sixth, and then we see the rest of our pro drivers there. But we'll get over to the little spoiler that I was giving you there earlier on the team side of things and take a look at what's going on there. As I mentioned, Going Racing.
Whoa.
Oh.
What did I miss, Rob?
Oh, maybe I calculated. Maybe I was looking at it wrong. Going Racing does come into this one ahead 6 points. That's what I was trying. They had a huge lead, but it's closed up here. SRTE Yellow coming in only 6 points back now of Going Racing. So that championship's going to go down to the line. SRTE Purple not too far back either. So it looks like it's a SRTE Going battle at the top of the team championship. The Madworks Lunatics drivers a ways back, but they're also quite a ways up on Riot Motorsport. So we'll see how it goes as the rest of the season progresses. As time and scoring just clicked over, we'll take a look at the grid here in a moment. But Riot Motorsports, Millennium Motorsports, SRTE Black, Crikey Esports, SRTE Orange, and then Solpec Precision Racing is going to round out the top 10 in the championship points. As it looks like our timing and scoring here wants to do a little bit of shenanigans on us, Rich. But 40 minutes here at Silverstone. I actually can't remember if it's a track that you enjoy or not, Rich, off the top of my head.
I like all the tracks, Rob. I've got none that I hate. But let's take a look here. We've got J.R. Williams on pole, Chris Smecker in second. Then we have Dave Menino in third, followed by Matt Stadnik in fourth. Third row, we've got Nicholas Goen, followed by Tony Costello. Then we have Jack Hedgecox, followed by Jay Steffi. Ninth, we have Jean McLuhan, followed by Jim Felice. 11th is Josh Ruchinski. In 12th, we've got Sean Provo.
And then we're going to find Joshua Spears in 13th with Brett Thurman beside him. Kevin Berquist and Pete Mejia are going to make up row 8. In row 9, Colin McKenzie and Andrew Trick. In row 10 goes to Javi Sierra and David Morris in 19th and 20th. Guillermo Perez in 21st. David Bush III in 22nd. Josh Goen in 23rd. And Jason Park going to round out our top 24.
We've got Jacob Fickner in 25th. Patrick Farrell in 26th. We got Seb Goche 27th, followed by Dale Peterson. 29th, we have Dave Jensen, followed by Brett Pancari. Then we have Chip Michaels in 31st, followed by Ian Cabana, Roy Brown, Neil Alexander, Mark File, Christopher Rhines, James Hand round out the field.
37 cars on grid here at Silverstone. You can see the very colorful field here we have tonight, Rich. A whole lot of different colors there of liveries, so it should be easy to pick out number of these drivers, but it's like everyone on track here now. The pace car will be pulling away. We'll get underway, but we should also mention any of our drivers that didn't make it tonight. The registration for drivers already in the league opens up this evening after the race, and then also as well, if you're looking forward to the F4 league that starts next season, signups for that start too as well. New drivers into GT3, they can join next week. So our current drivers get a little bit of a week head start, just for their loyalties. So we'll see how signups start to shape up, Rich. But short little pace lap here that we always enjoy. J.R. Williams, Chris Smecker, the SRTE Yellow driver, is going to lead us around to start this one off.
Yeah, we're coming around the final corners here. 18 corner circuit, Silverstone. Here we go, folks.
Yeah, buckle in. It's time to go racing. Second last race of the season, but penultimate race. J.R. Williams going to lead them off into turn 1. Chris Smecker in second place. Dave Menino in third. SRTE going to lock out the top 4 positions here, Rich, early on. And 3 of those 4 positions are SRTE Yellow drivers. So they're really going to try and put it to the Gowan Racing drivers here early on, as we got a number of drivers losing position. We got Calamity going off here into turn 3. Cars everywhere in this one. It's like Jack Hedgecox, one of our championship contenders, is spun around. He's going to fall all the way to the back. It's unfortunate for him. We'll take a look and see what happened there, but still plenty of time for him to try and recoup, as we still got drivers wrecking out here on the middle stretch. Looks like one of our Goen brothers too as well involved. So championship contenders going by the wayside here. Not a great start for the Goen Racing crew.
Yeah, it's certainly going to hurt their team championship lead. It's tightened right up, and it looks like it's, not going to be what they were hoping for tonight, but let's see how they recover. Lots of incidents on the first lap, but the leaders got away clean. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in a train. Chris Smecker trying to make a move on or catch up to J.R. Williams. J.R. Williams doing what he does best, and that is take it from pole and just kind of walk away and let everybody else try and play catch up.
Yeah, J.R. Williams trying to put it on cruise control here early on, but what a mess to start this one off, Rich. Number of drivers falling down the wayside. A bunch of other drivers really taking advantage of that. As David Bush III, Josh Gowan, 8th and 9th place drivers, already up 14 positions due to a lot of that carnage.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've lost, Jim Feliz is down, Tony Costello, Jack Hedgecoats, Nick Gowen, Jean McClune, whole bunch of drivers having issues on that first lap. Not what we want to see, but David Bush III is not having any issues. David Bush III up 14 positions so far, Rob. Wow.
Yeah, let's take a quick look here and see what happened there. Looks like Jim Feliz might have been the first one getting flagged here. Jim Feliz in the SRTE car in the middle there. Oh, he just got squeezed by Jean McClune there, or Jean McClune, and then that set off a whole mess of cars. See Feliz off the inside, Hedgecoats, the purple car. I'm not sure if that's Ian Cabana or Kevin Burke was trying to knife their way through there, but we'll take another look here. What happened to Jack Hedgecoats and how he got wrapped up in all this. So one of our championship contenders here, that purple BMW, got in there nice. Oh, unfortunately, he just got cleared out by Feliz coming across after he got shunted into turn 3. So unfortunately, not much Hedgecoats could do there, but what a mess. What a mess.
Yeah, and I believe in Throttle Freaks, they have, I believe it's called the Orange Zone, and which is in the first several corners of lap 1, where penalties are a little more strongly enforced. So be interesting to see what happens as a result of all of that.
Yeah, the Orange Zone tonight was turn 5. They definitely did not make it into turn 5, as that was in turn 3 that all that kicked off. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the penalties are doled out, but we still got a number of drivers on track here, Rich, battling out. One of those battles right now, Patrick Farrell in the purple Corvette here, trying to put some pressure on Javi Sierra.
Yeah, Patrick making a great effort so far. He's up 14 positions, trailing it behind Javi, who is also up 8 positions. A lot of drivers making a lot of gains because those incidents were up near the pointy end of the field. So a lot of these mid-packers are looking for some great results tonight. Opportunities open up for a lot of people we don't usually get to see up near the front.
Yeah, they're definitely opportunity for points for a lot of drivers, as a couple of our championship contenders have fallen by the wayside. So interesting to see one of those drivers trying to take advantage. And well, is Colin McKenzie. He's got himself up 11 spots. Teammate David Bush III just behind him. Josh Gowen, our AM leader, was able to snake through all that carnage. So one of the Gowen cars was able to get through. Unfortunately, Nicholas and David Hedgecoats weren't so lucky in that one.
Yeah, it's been a rough battle, but we've got some great racing still going on. We've still got the 30 some odd cars out there battling hard. So we're only what are we, Rob? We're only on our 3rd lap here of we've got a lot more to go here. We're looking at about 23 laps tonight, 45 minutes of racing. These guys are gonna be battling hard as we're coming in through watching Josh Gowen coming in through the the first few corners here. They're going to be leaning into this tough left-hander. They're going to sweeping around to another big right-hander after this.
Yeah, it's a tricky section here, this turn 6-7 section. And some cars, it's pretty easy to get through, like an open wheel car where it feels really comfortable with. Oh no, Colin McKenzie. I was just saying how great of a start he had, able to get through those drivers. Lost the back end of that Acura. Keeps it off the wall though. He's going to lose a ton of positions. But what I was saying is that turn 6-7 kind of sector is feels great in an open wheel car, but these GT machines, they really don't like to turn that sharp in a low speed corner like that, and they really kind of push and plug and roll their way through there, Rich. But unfortunately for McKenzie, he saw what could happen when you get back into the throttle a little earlier than necessary in that corner. But we got a battle here for, this is 16th place, Seb Gauthier leading this packer. He's got Roy Brown, Jacob Fichtner, Dale Peterson, Jason Park, Brett Bancari, all in a battle here amongst these drivers.
Yeah, that's a big train of cars coming down. You were asking earlier if I liked Silverstone, Rob. I'm mostly an open wheel guy, so yeah, it's fun in an open wheel car. Definitely a little different in the tin tops, as we say. But Brett Pancari, best team name in the business, and our only driver with in-car cam. Looking at Brett, he's always got the great background. Hi, I'm Daisy, powered by Project 91 driver. Doing a great job thus far.
Yeah, you weren't here, Rich, but we found out last week Brett actually in the Sault Ste. Marie area of Ontario, and but he's a Kitchener Ranger fan. Likes to go against the grain, I guess, of the local team. So that's why the Ranger paraphernalia in the background. So
oh, wow, he's even stranger than his team name. But we'll give him props. Good for you, Brett. You're making Rob happy. So, and we're glad to have you here, and we're glad you put the camera on for us to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, let's head back to Javi Sierra here, trying to put some pressure on Sean Provo. Provo in that Mustang up ahead. Looks like he's got some damage on the front end of that car, so he was involved in something somewhere, somehow, Rich. A little bit of aero damage on that Mustang. Probably going to hurt him here. Silverstone, a fairly high-speed track. A lot of sweeping corners, a lot of straights here, but that Mustang generally one of the quicker cars in straight lines, so shouldn't hurt him a whole lot. As long as he's got the draft of Pete Mejia up ahead. Pete Mejia, another driver who's made some big moves, up 8 spots too as well, Rich. So no doubt his co-workers will be happy to see that.
Yeah, we know Pete has his own fan club that shows up. He used to get a laugh out of us calling him what we used to call him, but sorry guys, we're not going to give that to you anymore. We're going to go back. Neil Alexander sitting in 26th spot. Neil up 8 positions. Having himself a good night so far. Neil having himself a little battle with, I believe he's following it along behind, Brett Thurman with, I don't see Santa on the back of that car, but maybe it's just, type's just a little bit too small for me to read, Rob.
Yeah, I don't believe he's got a bad Santa paint job for the Mercedes here. I believe it was a late week switch, so Brett will have to try and add that on maybe for next week, Rich, just to make sure it keeps with your OCD there with him having the bad Santa livery. Let's take a look.
I just think it's awesome.
Let's head back up to our leaders here and see what's going on. J.R. Williams still leading the way over Chris Mrecker, Dave Meninoa, and Matt Stanek. Those 4 drivers broken away from the rest of the pack, although it looks like J.R. Williams is also starting to break away from that trio too as well. Stanek holding on the back of Meninoa, but those SRTE yellow cars doing exactly what they need to do to come into this one to try and lock up the championship heading into next week.
And that's no real surprise after what we've seen all season long. Generally speaking, there's a, top 3-4 guys seem to gap a little bit, and then with the incident we had on lap 1, we lost 3 or 4 guys who are usually up near the front of the pack. So that's just allowed these 4 to get a little bit of a gap on the field, and really it's between these 4 for podium unless somebody makes a big mistake.
Yeah, you never know what could play out once pit stops come around, though, Rich. Right now, they've got, let's see, there's about 7 seconds between Stanek and Spears in 5th place, and then Spears kind of just ahead of a whole slew of cars separated by only maybe a second here or there, as David Bush III kind of leading that massive pack in behind that I believe stretches all the way back to potentially Guillermo Pere and Jay Steffi. I think Steffi's the last car on that pack. Oh, no, sorry, it's Kevin Burke. Actually, that pack has caught back up to them. So Seb Gauthier, who was leading that 3rd pack, I guess we could call it, in 16th place, they've now caught up to the back of Burke. So you can see off in the distance, David Bush III leading that pack that stretches all the way back to Brent Pancari in 21st place. So 6th place all the way back to 21st place, Rich, separated by 3.5 seconds.
Fabulous racing. That's what you want to see. You want to see good close battles up and down the field, but having a big pack like that is certainly entertaining. And we, looking at David Bush III in the picture-in-picture here, very nice to see him having the race that we haven't seen this season from him. He had a great season last season, but hasn't really had the results this season. But nice to see him battling up near the front, sitting in 6th place overall right now.
Yeah, it looks like our leader, J.R. Williams, already catching up to some lap traffic up ahead. That's the 33rd place car of Gene McClune just up ahead of him. So you can see McClune was wrapped up in that lap 1 incident. Actually, I don't believe it was him that hit Hedgecoats. It was a white horse that hit Hedgecoats. So I'm not sure who that was. Now off the top of my head, might have been Dave Jensen potentially. But McLoone back on track. Jared Williams going to make his way around now. So we'll see how that works out as it carries on. Williams not really feeling much pressure from cars behind him, Rich, so doesn't really have to force the issue.
Yeah, he's got about a 2-second lead over Chris Recker at this point, so gave him, as you say, Rob, the razzle-dazzle. Jean moved over, let him have the position, but we're going back here. Joshua Chinsky in the gorgeous-looking Corvette. Joshua sitting in 12th. He's down one position, not making the advances we usually see out of Josh, but lots of racing left to go, and he's, nice and tight here to Patrick Farrell, so definitely not out of it with his big pack of cars right ahead of him.
Yeah, I think Chinsky might have got wrapped up in that first couple corner incident. If I remember correctly, I think I saw his car off to the side, so down one spot from where he qualified. But as you mentioned, normally we've seen him kind of pushing towards the front in the Pro-Am category. He's giving Patrick Farrell a little bit of the razzle-dazzle. Doesn't look like it's done anything to get Farrell off his game, as we have a look back here from Patrick Farrell now. Joshua Chinsky really trying to push the envelope in behind him.
Yeah, the razzle-dazzle, Rob's favorite thing to see on the track. He gets to call out his one of his catchphrases, that and done and dusted, but we haven't seen any moves like that just yet. Patrick Farrell having himself a good little battle, though, in that nice Corvette. We've got Corvette 11th, and we've got Corvette 12th, so not really all the way up the front, but nice to see Patrick Farrell having himself a good race thus far.
Well, we got Josh Spears in 5th in the Corvette too as well, Rich. So
I missed him. Yes.
Yeah, with 3 of them in the top 12. So looks like the Corvette's working well here this week at Silverstone. But we got a battle a little farther back here. Brent Macari making a move around Nicholas Goen. Looks like Goen going to get back around him though on the exit of the corner. So that battle is going to keep going. Andrew Trickett right in there too as well. Trickett had a nice run last week at Road America. Looks like that McLaren not working so well for him here in Silverstone though.
Yeah, he's having a little bit of difficulties here trying to make some advances, but down a few positions. He may have been caught up in some stuff earlier. I'm not too sure, but lots of interesting battles going on. Follow on. Got Mark File right now. Mark following along behind Colin McKenzie, I believe. So a little bit of traction going on. Those two not exactly where they want to be. It looks like actually I think he's Ian Cabana he's following a little bit behind. Continue to watch the lead action up front here.
Yeah, that's Cabana that he's in behind there, but we got some close battles. Patrick Farrell still trying to fight off Joshua Chinsky. We got Kevin Berquist and Chase Steffi. Berquist started in 15th. He's been able to hold on to that 15th position. One of our only drivers is actually him and his teammate Ian Cabana, one of the only drivers, Rich, who are still in the position they qualified. So it's kind of surprising with all the movement we saw early on. It's something to be said not to have been involved in that wreck, to kind of maintain your position.
Yeah, it's well, hey, it's like rolling the dice, see where you end up. But Kevin Berquist sitting in 15th place, having himself a decent race thus far. Like you said, is where he started. He's following along right behind Jay Steffi. Jay Steffi sitting there down 6 positions, trying to make a little bit of a recovery effort after earlier issues. But great battling up and down. Look at all these cars. Rob going too wide. Looks like somebody making a good move there down the inside.
Yeah, I believe that is Nicholas Goen trying to look up the inside of Jason Park. So let's pick up that battle here as Park was able to fend off Goen. He's actually caught up to the tail end of Fichtner. So Goen tried that move underneath. Unfortunately, costing him a bit of time exiting out of that corner. It's allowed Park to pull away. Fichtner in the McLaren up ahead, doing well to hold off the charge from Park in the Acura, but another McLaren in behind. Actually, we got McLaren Acura here in this group, so nice little mix of machinery here battling it out.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the mid-engine cars, Rob. They may not be the Mercedes AMGs up front, but I mean, they just look so good, and I just love the way they handle. So, hey, call me stupid, but I'm a mid-engine guy. That's what I'm driving if I'm running GT3.
Fair enough, Rich. Fair enough. We got David Bush leading this massive pack of cars in the bottom screen, still leading the way over Josh Goen. We're on board here with Nicholas Goen. The other Goen brother kind of at the back of this pack here, just to kind of show you the breadth of this pack. Still about 15 cars deep as they go, Rich. They haven't really been able to sort themselves out or separate themselves out here. So you're just going to see how much longer they can go being this close to together. We're now almost 17 minutes into this race and still have 15 cars that close on track is quite impressive.
Oh, definitely. And it's Dave Bush third doing a great job of holding them all off and doing a fabulous effort. I don't know if something may have happened to Joshua Chinsky we were talking about earlier, Rob. Looks like he's fallen down a little bit here. I don't know if you have any replays or if there's anything worth noting.
Take a quick look. It looks like he might have crashed. We'll bring that up on the top screen here. I see Chinsky battling with, sure who that was, the 979. That's Javi Sierra. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Let's see if maybe we can get a chopper cam view of that from overhead. So you can get a little better idea of what happened between Chinsky and Sierra there. I'm not sure if it was netcode, Rich, or if there was a little bit of contact. Let's take another look here at it. Looks kind of like it was a little bit of netcode maybe, but unfortunately that sent Chinsky off, but lost a couple spots.
Doesn't look like he got too... Yeah, it doesn't look like he had too much damage there. Just lost a few spots. Joshua's usually got some good pace, so he's going to be battling back hard to get back there, but Dave Menino sitting in third right now. We're going to pick back up with Sean Provo. Sean sitting in ninth overall, having himself a great battle. He's following along behind Pete Mejia. And Josh Goen in the David Bush the third little bit of train. He's kind of stuck in the middle of this big, long train with a few cars in behind them going a couple seconds back. That train is kind of spread out a little bit further now, Rob, than it was earlier.
Yeah, this is the, I guess you call it the sharp end of that pack that we've been kind of watching it. But David Bush the third leading the way. Sean Provo has been trying to find a way around Pete Mejia, but he's been unsuccessful right now. Pete's been able to stay just ahead of him, but Provo really closing in through the final sector there. We'll see if he's able to try and find a way around him into turn 1 or 2, but right now it looks like Pete Mejia might have his number.
Yeah, Pete's doing a great job, and as is Sean Provo with that damaged Mustang. Mighty fine effort when you've got a little crushed in front end, and that's always hard to deal with, but Sean making the most of it of what he's got.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be affecting him all that much. I thought it'd be a little more hampering on his overall pace, but Provo doing well to stay with that pack. Taking a look at his last lap by, actually, it looks like he was the quickest out of this pack here last time by, so no doubt that draft is an advantage to him right now. It'll be interesting to see if he was out in clean air. Probably would be suffering a little bit more, but as long as he stays in the draft of Pete Mejia, Josh Goen, David Bush III up ahead, he should be fairly strong. But up front, still fairly status quo. Jared Williams now opening up 3 seconds, or almost 3 seconds over Chris Smecker in second place. Dave Menino in third, just ahead of Matt Stanek. Looks like all 4 of these drivers, Rich, for the most part, fairly content just to kind of hold their status position where they are. Stanek fairly close to Menino, but doesn't look like he's really interested in pushing the envelope here. Doesn't want to cost either one of these drivers any kind of championship points here. I imagine once the race ticks on, we get a little closer to the end. That's when the papaya rules go out the door, and we'll see a little bit of battling, but still a ways to go for that.
Yeah, we don't want to see any Lando and Montreal incidents here. And, you know, Matt Stanek may be saving a little bit of fuel, you know, tucked in behind the draft, not making any advances. So that's always a good spot to be, you know, save yourself a, you know, half a second in the pits. That's track position. That's one position gain. But look at this big pack of cars. Brent Bakari, Brett Thurman, all of these guys coming in nice. What we got? 7, 8 cars all lined up in a row as we come into the final couple of corners here at this beautiful Silverstone circuit. And I'll call it historic, as you said. It was the home of Formula One, the very first F1 race held here. Track's changed a little bit since the origin, but still a magnificent facility.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn, Rich. I kind of like the some features of the original layout. I guess it's the historic layout now on iRacing versus this new layout, and then there's some features of the new layout that I like a little better. So if you can maybe kind of join them together, I think we might have the perfect track. But we got some battling going on
Well,
here on the new layout.
well, it's never going to be Road America, Rob, but we'll deal with what we had here. So, Brett Thurman looking pretty good here, sitting in 24th place. But we're going to go back up here with Jay Steffi. Jay Steffi's having himself a good battle with Kevin Berquist, who's sitting in 14th spot. Kevin Berquist getting pressure applied now by Josh Ruchinski. Josh Ruchinski trying to make that charge up, trying to get those positions back from that little contact he had earlier. Nice little three-car battle going on as we continue on through this race.
Yeah, these drivers heading up into Cops Corner, one of the more famous corners on the track, and then we're heading into probably the turns that everybody knows the most, Rich. Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. So into turn 10 they go here now. And then they come out into turn 12, also known as Maggots. And then the final corner, Beckett's, that David Bush III leading that sharp edge around. There comes Steffi, Berquist, and Chinsky exiting out there now. So nicely done by all
right on to.
Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, it leads you right on to the longest straight on the track, the Hanger Straight. Also pretty famous, leading into the big sweeping right-hander Stowe. So drivers having themselves good battles as we pick it back up. Looked like we had
looks like Chinsky coming into the pits here.
Yeah, 22 minutes in, we're halfway through this race. Josh Ruchinski looking to get out of the traffic, get some fuel, reset himself, make a charge for the last half of this race.
And it's probably a wise choice utilizing the undercut. I know we talk about it every week. I'm a big proponent of trying the undercut. Looks like Andrew Trickett coming in too as well, in behind him. Especially when you're in a battle like that where he was trying to get around Berquist and Steffi. Might have had a little more pace, but unfortunately couldn't find a way around those drivers. Going to pop into the pits, trying to get into some clean air, and maybe you can put in a couple hot laps before they respond with their pit cycle, Rich. And for all you know, he could get ahead of them. So I think it's a wise move by Chinsky. We'll see how that works out once he comes back on track. But Guillermo Perez right now catching up to Javi Sierra. I'm not sure if Sierra got any damage off that contact he had with Chinsky earlier on, but he's going to be feeling some pressure from Guillermo Perez right now, our 4th place AM driver.
Yeah, Guillermo Perez having himself a very good race thus far, up 9 positions, and you know, a nice little battle with Javi Sierra. Nice to see these drivers. I'll call them more people of my people, Rob. These are the guys I like seeing up and getting screen time because they're not always more featured, but definitely having some great results tonight with both their driving and taking advantage of situations. So, Guillermo, well done to you, and closing on hard and trying to make efforts on Javi Sierra.
Yeah, it looks like Sierra got through the Maggots Beckett's Chapel section a little better than Perez, but just up ahead of them, Sean Provo now feeling a ton of pressure from Patrick Farrell. Farrell thought about looking up the inside into Stowe, was thought better of it at the end, didn't try and force the envelope, but Provo is falling back off of Pete Mejia, and now that he's kind of lost the draft a little bit, it would be interesting to see how that Mustang fares here in the air with that front damage on there. As Pete Mejia on the back of David Bush III, they're starting to pull away as Josh Goins got himself around David Bush III.
Yeah, I thought I noticed that a lap or so ago that David Bush III wasn't leading that train anymore. A nice job by Josh Goin. The team's not having a great night, but Josh Goin certainly is. Josh Goin up 17 positions on the day. Let's take a look at this replay, see how he got the job done. Looks like they're coming around on the main straightaway, and just Josh getting a much better exit, and David Bush had to basically back out of it because Josh had that corner.
Yeah, Gowan with a better run out of the final corner and down the front straight. As you mentioned, Rich was able to capitalize and take that position away. So now we'll see if David Bush III, as the chaser, can be put some pressure on Josh Goin, the chasee up ahead. But just kind of scanning through, looks like we got another Goin brother in a battle here a little farther back. Nicholas Goin trying to chase down Jacob Fichtner up ahead. So Brett Thurman falling a little bit back off this battle here now. Nicholas Goin, Jacob Fichtner battling it out for 17th and 18th place. Jason Park, Seb Gauthier pulled away too as well up ahead. Although it looks like Park still putting a ton of pressure on the back of Gauthier. Last we checked on them too as well, Park was trying to find a way around Gauthier. Been unsuccessful to this point in time, but he keeps that pressure on. Could potentially force a mistake from Gauthier, but Seb Gauthier with probably the best profile pick in the league, still holding
for sure.
strong just ahead of Jason Park.
Yeah, well, we're watching all of that. Something happened to Matt Stanek, Rob. It looks like he's fallen well back of that lead pack. Matt Stanek was battling in the second, third, and fourth. He's still sitting in fourth, but now he's 8 seconds behind third place.
Let's take a quick look here. What happened to Matt Stanek up on the top screen as he was following behind Dave Menino. Oh, looks like he's just going to go out wide. That is into Cop's corner. A little bit of pendulum effect kicked in on that Porsche. He's going to lose a little bit of time, but they had enough of a gap over Josh Spears. All he's going to lose is time, no positions.
Yeah, it looks like he may have got the wheels up on that curb, unbalanced, unsettled that Porsche, and as we know, once that back end starts to go on that Porsche, really hard to do anything about it. Meanwhile, Nicholas battling back after his incident earlier. He's down 12 positions, but he's gained a lot since, and he's charging hard. We've got 18 minutes left. Let's see how many positions he can gain back and see how Going Racing can recover, because Jack Hedgecoach looks like he's out of this race, and he's been in the pit since lap 1.
Yeah, it looks like we got a number of other drivers finishing up their pit cycle. Brett Thurman going to come around to finish up his service there as he's going to head back on track. So looks like we got from about 23rd on back have come in to get their service done here now, Rich. So we'll see if their counterparts that they were battling on track answer back and pop in now and try and counteract that undercut potential by the drivers who they were battling with. But Pete Mejia still tight on the back of David Bush III. Josh going leading that pack, but it looks like Patrick Farrell, now that he's gotten around Sean Provo, it looks like he's dragging Provo up into that pack again too as well. So Farrell with some quick pace here right now, the last few laps in that purple and black Corvette.
Yeah, Patrick Farrell having himself a very good race thus far. One driver I'd like to point out, our biggest mover and shaker, he's not really in any close battles right now, but our biggest mover and shaker, Roy Brown, up 20 positions, started 33rd, now sitting 13th in that beautiful looking orange Merc.
Yeah, nice race for him as he's going to come in to get his pit service here too as well. So he's got a ton of cars. Like Jay Steffi just ahead of him. Seb Gauthier going to come in too as well. Looks like Jacob Fichtner as well. So almost the majority of the rest of the cars that hadn't come in for service coming in here now, Rich. So we're still waiting for Dave Menino, Pete Mejia, Guillermo Perez up front to come in. J.R. Williams has already been in for his service and back out into 4th place, Rich, just to give you an idea of the gap he had over the rest of the field.
Yeah, J.R. Williams having a fabulous season, and man, this guy's got some pace and a lot of skill as well to match that pace. So J.R. Williams having himself a very fine effort this evening. Nice to see how things are going for him. But we've had a lot of good battles up and down the track. We've got a few cars left to go. It looks like we've got maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 cars haven't pitted yet. All the rest of our drivers have cycled through. Be interesting to see where the gaps are once the next lap or two have completed.
Yeah, Dave Menino, our leader right now, yet to pit. So he is heading down the hangar straight into turn 15, Stowe Corner. I'm having a look right now. J.R. Williams, our 4th place car, is in between Cops Corner and Maggots and Beckett's right now. So right now, J.R. Williams sitting about 28 seconds back of Menino. And J.R. Williams' time on and off pit lane was about 51 seconds. So Williams should retake that position once Menino comes into the pits. And as I say that, he's coming in here now. So J.R. Williams will come around and take that spot away. I suspect we'll see Pete Mejia, Guillermo Perez, and the rest of our drivers who haven't pit yet to come in this time too as well.
Yeah, it looks like the pit window has ended. It usually ends around the 30-minute mark, and Pete Mejia coming in. Pete Mejia sitting 2nd overall, but he'll shuffle back a little bit. Pete Mejia having himself a very fine effort this evening. Joshua Chinsky, though, 17th place. He's already done his pit stop. He had a really quick pit stop, Rob. It looks like he was the quickest in the stall out of everybody thus far. So let's see if he took on enough fuel.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. He was in the draft for a lot of the race when we saw him after he had that spin, Rich. So hopefully he's accounted for the fuel savings while in the draft, but he's trying to make a move around Mark File here right now. This File's going to come in for his service. That'll promote Chinsky back up ahead of him. So I believe, if I'm correct here, looking at my time and scoring, Mark File was our last car to pit. So that should end our pit cycle here. We'll have an idea of how our drivers are going to stack up for the final 14 minutes of this one.
Wow, and after the pit cycle, J.R. Williams, a 5-second lead so far, Rob. We still got a good battle for second, though, between Dave Menino and Chris Smecker, but J.R. Williams just putting on a clinic tonight.
Yeah, still a SRTE yellow stranglehold on the podium, but as you mentioned, Chris Smecker trying to find a way around. Actually, Dave Menino passed Chris Smecker through pit strategy. He stayed out that one lap extra and was able to leapfrog Chris Smecker. So we'll see. Maybe Menino was saving some fuel in behind Smecker earlier on and having a look at their pit stop times. Actually, Menino on par with J.R. Williams, 51 flat to a 51.6 for Menino. Chris Smecker, though, 53.0, one of our slower pit stop times out of our top 15. So that explains how Menino was able to leapfrog him. So we'll see if Smecker has the raw pace to get back around Menino.
Yes, well, Smecker's had some good pace all night long, and as is Patrick Farrell. Look at this nice battle we got here. Oh, we got 2 cars going, 3 cars. Are we going 3 wide here, Rob? I think we are. No, we're wisely tucking back in because 3 wide does not make a whole lot of sense through Maggots and Beckett's, and drivers quickly realizing that they still got 13 minutes to go. There's no sense throwing it all away here. Patrick Farrell having himself a good battle here. Guillermo Perez, and wow, just fabulous racing here. Look at this. Whoa, can't get much closer than that. 32 and almost 33 minutes into this race. These drivers are driving like it's corner 1, lap 1, or the last corner in the last lap, and look at this. Tuck it inside, outside, everybody trying to make advances. Not lose to, way up on the curbs, and look at this, Sean Provo. But we're having a good job holding off with his little damaged Mustang, but Sean Provo having himself a good battle. Joshua Chinsky getting very aggressive, looking to get those positions back. Joshua Chinsky up to 10th. He's actually got his positions back through his great pit cycle. He's doing a great battle here with Sean Provo.
Yeah, what a battle there, Rich. Couple of our trio of American muscle there battling it out. That Mustang getting bullied by a couple Corvettes, but Provo, well, I was gonna say holding strong. No. Unfortunately, he's gonna lose the back end, getting out onto the grass. So there's a nice battle between those 3 cars. Guillermo Perez wants to get involved now. That portion behind, he would love seeing that going on up ahead of him, allowed him to close in on that gap. So he probably would have enjoyed if they would have battled out a couple more corners. They would have been right in the thick of that battle.
Yeah, the German engineering trying to take on the American muscle and the American, well, I call it more of a sports car in the Corvette, but nice to see 3 different manufacturers battling that hard this late in the race. David Bush III, though, David sitting in 7th. He's behind Josh Goen, but we've got Pete Mejia having a fabulous effort, applying a lot of pressure, and he has been applying a lot of pressure ever since this pit cycle.
Yeah, Pete, strong race for him. Second highest placed AM driver. Actually, we've got 2 AM drivers in the top 8 right now, separated by David Bush III, our leading Pro-Am drivers. So a couple of our AM drivers doing very well here this evening. Got themselves nicely placed. As Mejia looking up the inside of Bush. So he's going to make that pass. David Bush going to back out and give it to him, tuck in behind. So Pete Mejia, what a move there. What a race for him.
Yeah, very nice to see. We have had Pete in the interview booth before, and he's always great to interview. Let's see if he can continue on this effort. But David Bush III, also nice to see him having a good battle. Let's see if he's got anything left in the tank for the last 10 minutes, Rob. I wouldn't count him out just yet.
Yeah, you never know. As you mentioned, we still got plenty of time here, Rich. 10 minutes. These guys are doing just right around the 2-minute flat mark as far as lap time. So potentially another 5 laps left on this one. So still time to make some moves, some shake and bake, if you will. But we got another battle a little farther back here with Seb Gauthier again leading a pack of cars. He's got teammate Jacob Ficker in behind him. Dale Peterson there too as well. Brett Thurman in this one as he tries to look up the inside of Peterson, try and make that move stick, but Peterson going to have the inside line for the next corner. Brett Pancari right there too as well. with this battle from, I believe, Subgochi in 18th place all the way back to Brent Pancari in 22nd. A lot of positions up for grabs here.
Yeah, it's fabulous. You know, 3/4 the way through this race, and we've got 5-6 car battles still ongoing. Brent Pancari sitting in 22nd place in the Hi-Am Daisy car, powered by Project 91, with the great profile pick. As we watch Brett live on stream, scratching the head, thinking about how he can get by. Brett doing a great job, but we've got Brett, and neither, Brett doesn't want to let Brett by, and Brett wants to get by. So let's see how this all shakes out in the next few corners.
Yeah, it's Brett with 2 T's versus Brett with 1 T right now, Rich. So we'll see whether 2 T's are better than 1 once this one comes to a conclusion. Right now, Brett with 1 T has oh man, I lost train of thought. He has the argument one right now, as he's just ahead of Brett Pancari, but still plenty of time for that battle to unravel. Let's pop back up here. Dave Menino still leading away. Chris Smecker, although Smecker closing that gap down now. It's only about half a second separating these two SRTE cars. J.R. Williams, though, is gone up ahead, almost 6 seconds ahead of that battle.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for anybody to accidentally run into the back of J.R. Williams tonight. J.R. Williams just putting on a clinic's pole. He took pole in qualifying, and he's led the whole race and gapped the field. The only issue J.R. Williams has is navigating a lap traffic and making sure he doesn't overdrive the car himself, because right now, just lose as he's catching up, it looks like, to the back of Jean McClune. Jean not having a great race with that little instance on lap 1, but we're going to go back into the mid-pack. Guillermo Perret, or not mid-pack, we're at 12th place. He's falling behind Sean Provo in his wounded Mustang. Sean doing a great job navigating the field in spite of the little bit of damage. He's got Patrick Farrell up ahead of him. So these guys are sitting here 10th, 11th, 12th place as we come through the final sections of this track here.
Yeah, they've done well to work their way up through the field. Rich, we've seen them kind of ebbs and flows here of this battle as the races went on, but Provo, nice race for him. Only up 1 spot from where he started, Rich, although it looks like he's been up and down the mid-pack of the, well, I shouldn't say the mid-pack, up and down the top 15 of the standings here all throughout this race. So he's been able to recover, but a little farther back, we still got a battle here being led by Jay Steffi. Roy Brown with that Sharpie paint scheme. I actually like that sharp when I see it on any of the cars, that kind of Sharpie scribbled paint scheme. I like it. So last week, Roy Brown, a little bit of an incident heading into, I can't remember the name of that corner. Turn 6 it was, I believe it was, at Road America. Got into the back of one of the, it was Riot Motorsports cars, lost the front bumper with a little bit of tap, so he drove wounded for a little while. Looking up the inside of Jay Steffi, though, it looks like Steffi going to back out, give that position to him, but Roy Brown trying to fight back on the outside. I thought when Steffi gave it up, it was going to be Roy Brown's, but Steffi was able to fight back on the outside, and Kevin Bergquist in there now wanting a piece of this action.
Yeah, Kevin Bergquist never afraid to mix it up. Kevin, long time, well, he's one of the original members of Throttle Freaks and a long-time PRL racer. And nice to see him mixing it up in the field. Just going to make another comment, Rob. Driver we haven't shown yet today, sitting in 31st place, James Hand. We are at Silverstone. James Hand representing, he's the only driver representing the United Kingdom tonight. Nice to see James. He's up 6 positions on the day. Not up at the in any battles right now, but let's give him a little shout out, give him a little bit of screen time. Hey, thanks for being there, James, and we're going to show you on your home track.
Did James switch cars this week? For some reason, I feel like I remember seeing him in a Mustang. Maybe I'm confusing him with Mark File, potentially. But I thought we normally saw James in a Mustang, but the sharp paint he's got on that Ferrari, the High Pro Mines. James, up and down day for him. Up 7 spots from where he qualified, but currently sitting in 30th place. A little bit ways back from Mark File, so see how James' race pans out as it goes on. But Ian Cabana up ahead, he's got the aforementioned Mark File just behind him. It's Mark in that gray Mustang trying to put some pressure on the Crikey Esports driver of Ian Cabana just up ahead.
Yeah, let's take a look on board here with Mark File. Mark File right now is sitting himself in, looks like 29th place, falling along behind Ian Cabana. These two drivers coming in through. Whoa, Ian Cabana going way, way wide, and that allows Mark File to close up real tight. Mark Files gave himself a nice move and makes the move around Ian Cabana.
Yeah, Cabana no doubt got a slowdown going way out wide there. Rich had to back out, and Mark Fowl isn't going to have to be asked twice to take that position away.
No, definitely not. You see something like that and somebody's got to slow down. That's like a freebie, and definitely taking a good advantage of it. But Dave Menino, Chris Smrecker, these two drivers been basically playing follow the leader for the better part of 41 minutes now, and be interesting to see as we're winding this race starts to rain down. We're in lap 21 now, predicting 23 total laps here tonight. Time race 45 minutes, so if Chris Smrecker wants this, he's going to get that move done pretty soon because he's running out of time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he has anything to offer for Menino. We saw Smrecker was a little longer in the pit stall, so maybe Menino and Williams didn't take enough fuel. We saw J.R. Williams with a fuel issue one of the races earlier on this season. I suspect he's taken enough here this week, but J.R. Williams heading into the final sector right now, and looks like he's going to cross the line with a little more than 2 minutes to go, so that we're going to have 2 more laps to go in the penultimate round here, Rich. So J.R. Williams, this is his race to lose as he's going to head across the line there now. 2 more laps to go for him to bring home this one.
Yeah, and when you have a 6-second lead, even if you are a little light on fuel, you can afford to do some fuel saving as we see some good close battling here. Javi Sierra having himself a good run on Sean Provo, and Javi Sierra tucks his nose up in front, and Javi sitting there in 12th place now.
Yeah, Provo trying to nurse back that wounded car. Looks like it's really starting to feel it here later on in the race. Nicholas Goen starting to sneak into this battle too as well. Driver was down 9 spots. I believe he was wrapped up in something early on. I'm not sure. I just heard a little bumping and banging there. I'm not sure if somebody dumped the curb just ahead of them or not, but looks like Mark File might have went off track too as well. After making his way around Ian Cabana, Mark File, we go out loose, lose the back end. Ian's going to take that spot right back again.
Yeah, that's one way to get your position back. Not something Mark wanted, but luckily no damage. He only lost the 1 position he'd gained just before. Pete Mejia, though, ahead of Dave Bush third. Dave Bush third is closing that gap back. Pete had started opening up, looked like a 1.5 second gap earlier, but Dave Bush the third doing what he does and closing strongly. And this could be interesting as we come into the final lap. We're in lap 22. We've got 1 more to go after this one.
Yeah, these drivers heading into Cops Corner here now. They're about halfway done this second to last lap. Josh Goen just up ahead of them now in 6th place. 17 positions gained on the day for Josh Goen, our top AM driver, and he's actually ahead of our Pro-Am field as well. So nice strong run for Josh Goen, leading the charge for the Goen Racing team this week, as fortunately Hedgecokes was out early, and brother Nicholas involved in a little bit of an incident too as well.
Yeah, Nick, though, has done a good job in recovering, get himself back up into 13th place. We watch Brett Thurman having himself a good battle, but Brett getting a little bit squeezed there. Brett and Seb Gauthier. Seb Gauthier not afraid to get the elbows out, doesn't want to get out of the position as we come in through. It looks like we're coming through Maggots and Beckett's here. And but now Brett's got himself a great run as we go down the hanger straight. He's taking the outside, but Seb is on the inside. It's all a matter of who's going to make the late braking move as we enter into Stowe. And looks like Brett Thurman, a little bit late braking, and Seb is going to have to tuck it in behind.
Yeah, this driver's going to come around to start their final lap here now. We'll see if Seb Gauthier able to find a way back around Brett Thurman, but Jacob Fichter has come into the pits. Looks like underfueling for him, having to come in on the last lap. That's unfortunate for him. He's going to lose a ton of spots, but up front, Dave Menino still leading around Chris Smrecker for 2nd place. J.R. Williams open that gap now up to 6.6 seconds. I thought maybe he would just put it on cruise control, Rich, but maybe this is his cruise control right now.
Well, why change things? I mean, it's worked thus far, Rob. You know, sometimes when drivers let off a little bit, it just messes the rhythm and, get the break points. You try and let off a little bit, take it a little bit easier. I'm one of those guys. That's kind of my specialty, but J.R. Williams obviously not used to letting off and having himself a fabulous final lap.
Yeah, only a few more corners here to go for J.R. Williams. He's on the straight between Stowe and Vale into turn 16, 17, 18. One more corner to go. And that's going to wrap it up here for round number 9. J.R. Williams going to take top spot and going to get himself a nice hold on the championship heading into the penultimate round next week at the Nürburgring.
Yeah, Dave Menino coming in second, and third place Chris Smecker. Looks like we follow a little bit further back. Pete Mejia doing a good job of holding off Dave Bush third. Dave Bush third. He's only got a couple corners left. Let's see how this one shapes out, Rob. It looks like unless Pete makes a mistake, he's got this one. But Dave Bush third, not giving up just yet.
Yeah, 2 more corners to go for Pete Mejia. Mejia looking strong at a turn 18, going to lead them to the line. Bush looks to the outside. Oh, unable to get a run around. Pete Mejia going to take that spot. But if we got this battle, oh no, Jay Steffi out of fuel. He's losing a ton of spots. Roy Brown going to get around. Roy Brown now leading that pack. He's got Kevin Berquist in behind him. Thurman there too as well. Roy Brown up 18 spots to the line. Berquist going to stay tucked in behind. Thurman in back there. Goche Pancari all going to pick up a spot. Chase Steffi trying to just coast it to the line. Looks like he's going to make it just barely, but he is losing a ton of positions here. Unfortunate for one of our Pro-Am leaders coming into this race. There comes, I believe that's Christopher Rhines, Neil Alexander, not too far back as well. Jay Steffi just gets to the line. That's unfortunate for him. David Morse and Jacob Fichtner battling to the line. Fichtner going to hold off Morse.
Follow along with the last few drivers finishing here on Mark Vile sitting in 28th place in that gorgeous looking Mustang. I was kind of caught off guard. I didn't have Jay Steffi running out of fuel on my bingo card there, Rob. He was in the stall longer than a lot of the guys out there, so he was obviously burning up a lot more than the other guys too. So we're gonna catch up. James Hand, our UK representative at Silverstone. Nice job, James, coming in 29th place with that gorgeous looking car.
Yeah, Ian Cabana going to be our final driver across the line here. Just having a quick look at Jay Steffi. Actually, only 51.8 seconds in the stall for Jay Steffi. That's one of our quicker pit stop times. So it looks like maybe the Acura sipping a little more fuel than some of the other cars here, Rich. And unfortunately, looks like Steffi just miscalculated by about a tenth or two of a gallon, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think some of the other drivers may have been doing a little more fuel saving than he did. But let's take a look at the results here. In first place, he qualified him first. He finished first. Never a doubt he was in first every single lap. J.R. Williams. Second place, we had Dave Menino, 7 seconds behind in a good close battle with Chris Smecker. Then we had Matt Stadnick. Matt Stadnick finished fourth, 8 seconds back. Matt having a little bit of spin took him out of that battle for a podium position. Josh Spears finished fifth. Our top amateur, Josh Goen, in sixth, followed by Pete Mejia in seventh. Then we had David Bush III, our top Pro-Am, in eighth, followed by Joshua Chinsky in ninth, Patrick Farrell in 10th, and we have Guillermo Perez in 11th, followed by Javi Sierra in 12th. Nicholas Goen on a recovery run finished in 13th, followed by Sean Provo, 14th. 15th place, Roy Brown. Kevin Berquist, 16th. Brett Thurman in 17th. Seb Gauthier, 18th. Brent Bakari, 19th. And Jason Park in 20th.
And then we find Dale Peterson in 21st. Colin McKenzie falls to 22nd after that spin. Jay Steffi running out of fuel at the line is going to drop him down to 23rd. Neil Alexander, 24th. Chris Rhines in 25th. Jacob Fichtner in 26th. David Morse comes home in 27th, excuse me. Mark File in 28th. James Hand in 29th. Ian Cabana is going to round out the top 30. Then we get into a little bit of our used car parking lot. A couple cars couple laps down, McLoone and Jensen, Trickett, Michaels, Hedgecoast, Costello, Feliz, all unfortunately incidents early on, and they don't see the checkered flag here this evening, Rich.
Yeah,
Looks like
that's rather unfortunate for those guys. And it looked like who was it? It looked like somebody else ran out of fuel on the last. Like Ian Cabana looked like he dropped a bunch of positions because he had a 209. He finished 209 behind the leader, so he was more. That looked like he may have run out of fuel there or had an incident on the last lap, cost him a few positions. But wow, we had a great, exciting race nonetheless.
Yeah, no doubt. One guy who had a fairly tame race, though, qualified up front, got the lead from the start, took it from green to checker. J.R. Williams, you came into this one leading the championship standings. You're going to leave it leading the championship standings. You got yourself placed very nicely to wrap up the championship next week at Nürburgring.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was a pretty straightforward race, which I can't complain about. Obviously, take it one race at a time, so still got one more to go. Anything can happen, and we'll just give it our best.
How does Nürburgring kind of compare for your skill set here at in the Throttle Freaks, JR? I know it's a track that a lot of guys, I've come to know that a lot of guys aren't really a big fan of it. I don't know why, but how you feel about Nürburgring next week?
Oh, I love Nürburgring. It's a good track, especially since it's the WEC layout. The GP slow chicane kind of not the best, but with the WEC chicane, it's a good track. I think it'll be a good time. I think the Merc will probably be, at least competitive. So I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent stuff. Well, we hope to see you wrap it up next week at Nürburgring. Before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, as always, just give a shout out to all of the SRTE guys. Obviously, we make up a chunk of the field. We all put in a lot of practice, and it's a good group of guys. And also a shout out to the league admins that put together a good series. And it's nice to see the continuation of PRL this season.
Yeah, excellent stuff. And we hope to see you again at the Sharp End next week, JR. Best of luck to you, and have a good one.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
That was our winner, J.R. Williams. Let's quickly bring in our third place finisher, Chris Smecker. Chris, we saw you had a nice, strong race last week at Road America. You and J.R. were able to get out to a nice lead, kind of maintain that. This week, again, looks like the SRTE yellow cars were able to get out to a nice lead, and you guys just kind of put it on cruise control from there. Next week at Nürburgring, how you feeling heading into that one?
Yeah, hey boys. Feeling good heading into Nürburgring. I've actually ran laps there before, so this is actually my first race ever at Silverstone. So practiced throughout the week, and despite the lack of experience, really happy with the third place result. But yeah, time to lock in and try to go for P1 at the ring.
You're a better man than I, Chris. If you can just pick up the track and learn it a week and finish on the podium. I have never had that kind of luck, but it looks like the SRTE guys, I don't know if you guys had this strategy once you saw you all qualified up top, just kind of get away. There was a hell of a mess heading into turn 3 to start off. Guys were all over the place. You folks were able to avoid that, but best of luck to you next week, and we hope to see the SRTE guys strong again and Nürburgring.
Yeah, thanks. We're looking forward to it. Try to finish out strong and get JR the championship and get SRTE Yellow the team championship. So we'll lock in and go get them next week.
Anybody want to shout out here, Chris, before we let you go?
Yeah, of course, the team, as always, the practice sessions and the camaraderie throughout the week, we all make everybody faster, all these SRT boys. So always good to see the good results, and really stoked on the SRTE Yellow lockout. And of course, my dad and his fiance Crystal back at home, I know they're checking out the race and probably pretty stoked on the results. So of course, got to thank them for tuning in and checking out the broadcast.
Excellent stuff. Well, best of luck next week, Chris.
Yeah, thank you very much. See you, boys.
Take care. That was our second place finisher, Chris Smrecker. Quick bring in Dave Mando. I always get thrown off by the D ... on his name. It never shows it on there. But Dave, congrats, second place. We were just talking to JR and Dave. You guys were able to get up front in SRTE yellow cars and just kind of maintained the lead from there. You were able to leapfrog Smrecker through a pit strategy. Is that something you had in your mind once you saw you could kind of stay in behind and save some fuel early on?
Yeah, so honestly, for the majority of the first stint, I wasn't really saving fuel at all. I was just trying whatever I could to stick with them. Then I noticed with about 4 laps left, I just needed to save a tiny bit more to get that extra lap, and so I figured, heck, why not? You know, it's always kind of worth the shot. Especially once I saw Matt had a little bit of a spin, it gave me a little bit more breathing room to be a little bit more adventurous with the strategy.
Excellent stuff. Do you guys think you can wrap up the team championship next week at Nürburgring?
Yeah, hopefully. You know, JR is just untouchable right now. He's been flying the last, more or less the whole season. And hopefully for me, I can have top 5 pace, and I would hope that's probably enough to wrap it up.
We're feeling pretty comfortable in you guys taking it with the points haul you're going to have here this evening, but you never know what happens in the no drop race that ends the season. So best of luck to you. Is anybody you want to shout out here before we let you go?
Yeah, we'd just like to shout out you guys for the broadcast. Like shout out SRT for great teammates. Just have a blast practicing with these guys every week. Definitely improve each week racing with those guys. And lastly, thanks to the guys at Throttle Freaks for putting this league on.
Excellent stuff. Best of luck next week to you, Dave.
Great, thanks guys.
So was our second place driver in the pro category. Let's bring in here David Bush III, who last lap pass got himself around Pete Mejia and back up into top spot in the Pro-Am category. Catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, David, it's been a while since we've had you in the booth. Congratulations on a great result tonight.
Thanks. A little correction there. I did not get past Pete at
No.
last corner. I wish.
Oh,
No, you no, you didn't. I was going to call that out, but you can correct Rob. That way I don't get in trouble from the boss. So,
correction. We'll issue a retraction here.
Have a little bit of a messy start there, which you certainly took advantage. You moved up 14 positions on the day. How did you manage to get through all that cleanly?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. There wasn't a mess at all. I just passed everybody. I mean, I turned into turn 3 and took the apex, and I took turn 4 and was in the middle just trying to avoid people. And then next thing I know, I'm in the top 10. Easy as that.
That was awesome driving. It's nice to see you battling up near the pointy end of the field again. Next week's Nürburgring, any experience there? How do you think that's going to go for you?
Hopefully the Lambo keeps middle of the pack. If I can keep the car in the middle of the pack of the BOP, then I can at least fight. Today was pretty rough for the Lambo, but I also could not get turn 1 down throughout the entire race. I spent this back half of the race just trying to learn how to take the first corner without going way wide on the exit.
Well, Rob and I really appreciate you running that Lambo all season long, despite its disadvantages. Certainly the only Lambo driver and the best sounding car in the field. So congratulations on your podium. Anybody you'd like to shout out tonight?
As always, shout out to Lunatic. The Madworks crew is trying our best out here. And Colin is the best painter around. So I always got to give him congrats. Another congrats to Josh. He raced me cleanly when things settled down after the start of the race. I was trying my best to keep a 0x race going. Unfortunately couldn't do that, but he raced me clean, getting by and getting that AM win. So congrats to him.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, David. We will see you next week. Hopefully we see some good results again from you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So that was our top Pro-Am driver, David Bush III. We'll quickly bring in our second place Pro-Am driver, Joshua Chinsky. Joshua, we saw you have a little bit of an off track there after it looked like maybe potentially a little bit of net code, a little bit of contact with, I think it was Javi Sierra. You were able to regroup, get yourself back up into second spot in your class. All in all, how did your race go from your point of view?
I mean, honestly, as you guys could tell, that first lap, that first sector was just absolute chaos. I think I watched it back a couple times already. I think I just got left with nowhere left to go. I don't know if I could have gone right and made it. I might have gotten spun. I don't know if I could have gone left. So it was just unfortunate for the start. I was kind of expecting something. Cold tires in Silverstone here it's really sketchy, especially with the track temps being a little high. But overall, pleased with the race. Yeah, the contact lap 6, it was unfortunately netcode. It looked like on my screen that I had about two tires width between him and me, and I still got spun. So that's iRacing for you. Nothing he could do about it, nothing I could do. But overall, yeah, good recovery drive. I don't know what happened in regards to the fuel. It seemed like I just got a massive 4-second advantage in the pits, and I don't know how I did it. I went in like a second behind Jay Steffi and came out, I think it was 3.6 seconds. So it was a nice surprise because it was not intentional.
Yeah, Jay Steffi unfortunately ran out of fuel on the last lap, so rough race for him. But we head to Nürburgring next week to round this out. How you feeling heading into there?
Gonna need some work. The Nürburgring GP circuit or the WEC circuit, either one. It's probably one of my least favorite tracks on the service. That sector 1 of the slow corners, the off camber, it just I hate being delicate. I like to just throw the car around. So being delicate in those sectors, it always throws me for a loop. But I'm looking forward to it. It should be a great finale. Excited to see the points. I think between everything that happened, our points are going to really close up, and we might actually have a fight for the last race, whereas it didn't really seem like we were going into it. So looking forward to rounding out the season strong and just seeing what I can do.
Excellent stuff. Give us your shout outs here, Josh, before we let you go.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you to Throttle Freaks for running this season and running this series. It's been an absolute blast racing here. I know we got one more race to go, but I appreciate everything that you guys do. Pit Road Productions, you guys are fantastic. I love watching the broadcast back, and I'll be very interested to see how this call went for for the first lap. SRT, you guys are just fantastic too. I love my team. You guys are freaking just amazing when it comes to trying to compete against you and pushing your team members to the limit. And then Mom, Dad, thank you for watching. Appreciate all your support. And then Penn Station East Coast Subs and Lifestyle Integrations as my sponsors. If you guys are in the Midwest or down south, make sure to go out and get a nice Philly cheesesteak or a chicken teriyaki.
Oh,
Dude, they're just fantastic, and we're 1 month away from some specials.
I got
Richard's
to
gonna be
interrupt for a
running to
second.
get a
I'm
sandwich
supposed
now.
to jump into this. I'm not supposed to jump in the middle of the interview. I haven't eaten supper yet, Joshua. So please, you're killing me here.
Oh, and we have the club and the Reuben's great. And but
excellent
awesome.
stuff,
That's it for me,
Josh.
guys. I appreciate everything you guys do, and I'm hopefully going to be able to talk to you guys one more time before the season's over.
Well, best of luck next week, Josh, and we'll see how it unfolds for you at Nürburgring. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
That was our second place Pro-Am driver. Looks like we got Patrick Farrell. The final step on the Pro-Am field for Patrick. Patrick's going to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Patrick, congratulations on making the podium tonight. Quite the interesting race. You made 16 positions up. It looks like you took some advantage there.
Thanks. Yeah, it was that first lap, Richard, was pretty wild. So yeah, I think it was like 10 or probably more than 10 spots that I gained on that first lap just from on the chaos. So that was a good start, and yeah, it was a fun race overall.
Well, Rob and I are big fans of watching the American-made Corvette, and you represented it well tonight. Next week we go to Nürburgring for the season finale. How are your thoughts on that? Are you comfortable there? Have you done many laps?
Yeah, I like that track. I haven't done a ton of laps lately in iRacing, but years ago, I remember in Gran Turismo, put many laps there. So very familiar with the track. So looking forward to it.
You know, Rob and I are also big fans, so we're looking to see how you perform next week. It's nice having you on the podium. Great effort. You certainly navigated that first lap very cleanly compared to a lot of people. Got through the traffic and found yourself here on the podium. Anybody you'd like to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, shout out to my team, Millennium Motorsports. Dave was in the race. I know Herb, he couldn't make it because of some internet troubles, but and also thanks to my wife as always. And Yeah, thanks to you guys for putting this on. Really, really fun.
Well, awesome. We look forward to seeing you next week. Hopefully, we get to interview you once again. Take care.
Yep, thanks.
That was our third place Pro-Am driver, and then we'll wrap things up here with our AM winner, Josh Goen. Josh, nice race from you. Get yourself up easily into the top 10, top AM driver. You're able to avoid that chaos on lap 1. All in all, how do you feel your race went?
A lot of luck, but also some really great racing out there against Pete. Pete breathing down my neck all race. He definitely had the pace tonight. I kind of keeping an eye on him for the championship, and he started way up the field, and then goodness, thanks to the wrecks, I was right behind him, and I kind of laughed a little bit because I knew that would frustrate him. And then managed to get a run on him on cold tires, got by him, and then he just breathed down my neck all race. So managing that. Fought against David there for a good bit. Tried to make it interesting, make a move, and just keep moving forward as much as I could. So happy that I made it through the crap, but had to earn it certainly.
Yeah, David Bush made mention when he was in the booth here with us that he shouted you out, saying you raced him clean and hard, and you appreciated it. So next week we head to Nürburgring. It's a track that most of our drivers kind of feel a little comfortable with it that we've asked so far. Josh Chinsky wasn't a big, was Josh Wachinski wasn't a big fan of it. One of our Pro-Am drivers, Patrick Farrell, said he was comfortable in it. A couple of our pro drivers kind of medium lukewarm on it. How are you feeling about Nürburgring? I believe it's the WEC layout that we're running next week.
Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be fun to close out this season, see who's around to celebrate, what's been 10 weeks of good, hard racing. I like the track. I learned it this year to do the Nürburgring 24 with, the big track. So the WEC layout will be, got most of the corners down. Got to learn it in the McLaren and get some practice in and try to put on a good show one last time.
You headed into this one with the lead in AM. You're going to exit it with the lead in AM. How you feeling comfort-wise about wrapping up the championship next week?
You try not to think about it too much, but you do. Just try to show up ready to compete, watch where the rivals show up, but once that green flag hits, then it's just going out there and maximizing my race and not being stupid and throwing it away. So that strategy's worked well for me so far, so try to keep that up and bring it home.
Excellent stuff. Before we let you go, Josh, give us your shout-outs.
Yeah, my family, my dad, my papa, anybody else that's been watching along, appreciate them. The team, Nick and Jack were taken out early tonight, do some bowling at turn 3. So unfortunate for those guys. They've been racing hard all season. So unfortunately, we're gonna take a bit of hit in those standings, but we'll show up for the last round, ready to go.
Well, best of luck to you, Josh, and hopefully we see you again in the booth here next week. Take care.
Appreciate you.
So that was our AM winner, Josh Goen. He is going to wrap up the evening. Rich, we'll let you get off and get yourself a little dinner, because I'm sure you're like Winnie the Pooh over there with a rumbling in your tummy there.
I need a sub, Rob.
You get to get yourself a sub after Josh Wachinski was going on about his subs. But next week we head into the final round. I know we both are big fans of Nürburgring. I think it's going to supply some excellent racing. Rich, what are you anticipating heading into the final round?
Well, I think we're going to see some good battles. I mean, that turn 1 is just going to be chaos if we have a big field, which I expect. But, then you've got the final chicane. I just think we're going to see a great race, and I really expect to see Jared Williams do what he's done all season. As long as he can qualify up the front, Jared Williams has been the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I think barring any major catastrophe, J.R. Williams should be able to lock up the championship. But again, it is a final round of the season, is a no-drop week. So you want a chance to win the championship, you got to show up and at least join the field. So for myself and my hungry compatriot here in the booth, Richard Swindells, this is Pit Road Productions. And again, if any of you drivers are interested in the F4 League, signups are now open for that. The GT3 League signups for new drivers open next week. So You can find a link to the Discord in the description of the video. We'll catch you all next week. Bye for now.